Hello, everyone. It has been one of those days. I can't see because I'm drinking something a little different. Gold Peak unsweetened. Well, it's sweet tea, zero sugar. It's not good for you, I'm sure. But it is Saturday the 26th, and I got my sink fixed today. Oh, I went and ate some pizza last night, and I had some cheese fries and fried pickle spears. It's delicious. I have pizza left over. I'm going to eat some of that tonight. I actually want some now that I've said it. And then tomorrow I'm going to make a nice big pot roast. Potatoes, celery, carrots, mushrooms, onions, and some beef. I'm going to slow cook it in a crock pot. You getting hungry? Because I've been craving it all week. All right, that had nothing to do with the video. But now we're going to get into the video. Crack this bad boy open. Give it a good shake first. This video is an audience of one, episode 2, Walk the Path Alone. This is sponsored by YouBuyWeRush. It's too much sweetness taste level 3 out of 4. It is a little too sweet. And it has that slight tea has gone off taste. I don't know. Maybe it's just because I just was snacking on something. It seems a little off. I'll drink all of it to double check. But before we get started, click that thumbs up button for me. That helps out tremendously. You can subscribe to my channel. You can donate to the channel through the thanks button. And if you do, you request a video, your name's sponsoring the video, just like this one. You can donate without requesting a video, and you can request a video without donating. It just takes a little bit longer. I don't know what if I said donating, or I said donating. So we're just going to get into the video because I can't talk. Action.
If along this journey you had friends and family in your corner supporting you. But
we're going to go back. All right.
But the sad truth is you have no one. You're on your own.
Whoa.
It would be nice.
Hey, not to be mean. Okay, let's try this again. Action.
It would be nice if along this journey you had friends and family in your corner supporting you. But the sad truth is you have no one. You're on your own. You've been on your own. You'll most likely remain on your own for a considerable amount of time. Being alone teaches you a lot of things. One of the most important is that you need to become comfortable being on your own. You see, when you thought you had people in your corner, you were comfortable, and that was part of the problem. Your comfort with that false companionship made you afraid of being alone, afraid of walking alone, afraid of standing alone. You were too concerned with being accepted. You were too concerned with being rejected. Luckily for you, there's absolutely no ambiguity now because you are alone.
Is there a camera somewhere in here that he knows about me? Because that felt personal. That felt personal. It's true for me. You know, I had my one sister that was close. We don't talk anymore now. I had my dad I could always rely on. He's gone. I got people that I could call upon if I needed to, but otherwise I got to do a lot of the stuff really on my own. Like I can't rely on anyone else, which is about 70% true before, but it's about 100% now. Damn. And you're just looking right through my soul right now.
No kind words from fair weather friends is going to change that. You're on your own. And because you're on your own, and you are most likely going to remain on your own, as you go through some significant challenges in the future, you need to become comfortable with being alone, and you need to embrace it quick.
That I am. I'm almost too comfortable with myself. And let me tell you, there is a joy in that. My only discomfort is that I can't just up and leave. Like I can't come home from work on a Friday and say, I'm going to drive to to Tennessee, to Nashville. It's a 7.5, 8 hour drive. I'm going to drive to Nashville Friday night. On my drive, I'm going to reserve a hotel. Don't care what it is. I mean, I do, but reserve a hotel. Get there late. Sleep, wake up the next morning, go around Nashville, just kind of spend my day in Nashville, stay in the hotel Saturday night, get up, eat a nice breakfast, drive home, and then do some laundry and just chill out. I can't do that because I have pets. I can't leave them alone like that. That's the only downside to me not having someone. But I don't have to listen to nagging. I don't have to be told that I need to go do this and I need to go do that. And that's the trade-off. And it is a great one.
Quickly, because you're going to have to be like Frodo in the ring. Yes, you do, Boromir. You are simply going to just walk in and out of Mordor by yourself. And if some Sam comes along to support you and occasionally feed you lembas bread, then great. But don't count on it. You're most likely doing this on your own. You need to stop being afraid of what everybody else is afraid of. And if you die alone in a ditch somewhere and nobody knows and nobody's able to ID your body because nobody cares, great. You need to be 100% okay with the fact that this is you against the world, and you are not anticipating, waiting for, expecting in any way, shape, or form that anybody's coming to the rescue. You need to be as comfortable as an island, as a rock in the middle of the ocean that's getting pounded by the waves of adversity and is completely and utterly unfazed. And you need to be comfortable doing that for an extended period of time, knowing that most likely you are not going to have any support or assistance through this journey for the foreseeable future, if at all. And if it comes, be grateful. But if it doesn't, and it most likely won't, then you need to be okay with being on your own. And that requires...
If it comes, great. But if it doesn't, you're not hurt because you never expected it to. Do you know what I mean?
Requires yourself to love yourself while acknowledging all of your faults and imperfections, without allowing your self-awareness of such to cause you to fall into a sense of despair because you're afraid of how others will perceive them or how they'll perceive you if they become aware of such faults. This is very much a battle of the mind in which society has convinced us that we are in need of all of these superficial likes and friends and followers and groupies of zombies who they themselves are broken but are continuing to pretend as if they have it all together. You've got friends, so you must be doing great. You know, if only you were more popular, you'd feel better. Too many of us get caught up into the idea that outside validation or refutation has anything to do with the reality of who we are. You must remember that...
I apologize for pausing all the time. The hardest thing, looking back, I gotta get this peanut butter cup out of my throat. It's not great. Not great. Looking back on my life, the hardest thing I could tell myself or tell, I kind of had an understanding, but the hardest thing you can tell someone now, looking back, and this is in America, looking back on your life is life isn't high school. Your friends in high school will fade away by the time you would be leaving college. It's rather you hold on to them. You'll see them in passing, and maybe it's, hey, how you doing? It's cordial. Hey, haven't seen you for a long time. You catch up. But it's fleeting. It's not a popularity contest. You know, when you get your job doesn't care how popular you were in high school. No one cares. What we'll talk about is, oh, you were the bully, huh? Cool. And then you talk to people, but even those people over time realize, what did that accomplish me? Nothing. Life isn't high school. Like, it doesn't matter. I tell people that I know that we're in school, and it doesn't soak in. And it's like, just wait. Just wait. Because you're going to realize all that when you walk into school, all the popularity, people want to be you. You get out into the real world, people look at you and they're like, yeah, you're going to fail pretty hard, pretty fast. And it's going to be amazing to watch. And it's going to upset you because you're only used to you failing. No, you didn't fail. You did this, you did that, and you're great. And in the real world, your failure your failure is not you're okay, you're fine. Your failure is, hey, dipshit, don't do that anymore. And the world hits them hard. And it's everyone. And you realize, oh, the real world doesn't care about your popularity in high school.
What you do is not judged by the number of people who support or don't support you. It's judged by how it aligns in accordance with the principles that you hold. Having everybody love you and support you has no bearing on whether or not you're actually doing the right thing. And just because people may support you at some point in time doesn't mean that they always will. So everyone supports you. You're celebrated. You have tons of friends. Great. Thousands of followers. We've been there. How did that turn out? Right? Were they really your supporters? Were they really your friends? Numbers are a very superficial comfort thing that when the going gets tough are clearly meaningless. Yet you covet support because you've conditioned yourself that if people are with me, I must be doing the right thing. And you've been gullible to think that if people are with me, they're really with me. Public opinion is an absolute joke. You know that public opinion has no relevant bearing on the greater scheme of things when God is truly the only one who is knowing of every situation and context and every individual's capability in those specific contexts, and therefore is the only one that's able to judge any situation or individual in any specific situation. So what people think is irrelevant, whether they support you or whether they don't, whether they hate you, whether they love you. All of that is irrelevant. What's relevant is your actions in regards to how they agree with the principles that you hold. So you could have absolutely no supporters and be 100% right in your actions and in your speech and in the direction that you're taking your life. On the flip side, there's no shortage of wolves shepherding sheep throughout history. So do not let the idea of supporters having any bearing on your authenticity or righteousness or the correctness of your actions penetrate your mind. Whether you have support or not is irrelevant with regards to the path that you have to take moving forward. But I implore you that you have to embrace the idea of traversing this path on your own. First and foremost, because you are. For years you've battled a silent battle, though the effects of which would be hard to see would be visible to those who would be close enough to observe them. A battle that, for the most part, people would judge you're losing, except for the fact that you've made a conscious decision to continue to fight. You see, the idea of keeping a positive mindset and making a conscious choice to struggle despite the adversity that you face around you may seem like a simple choice to the one who's not been taken by the traps of the mind, which can lay a mental labyrinth that can be very difficult to navigate when seeking to move towards intellectual, physical, spiritual, and emotional health. When in reality, the battles of the mind are the most difficult because they're unseen and they're the ones that are most often lost. So it's a huge step that you've decided to continue to pursue to fight the battle that you're facing, but you're going to have to be comfortable going it alone. Only then will you become capable of choosing companionship with people who are loyal and worthy of your friendship instead of choosing people simply to fill a void because of your own loneliness. One might think that a method of such selectiveness would make the world a lonely place, but maybe it would just force people to stop treating friendship and brotherhood as a cheap statistic which can be measured by likes and hearts and can be discarded at the click of a button. Your companionship has to have value to it, and no one is going to set that standard except for you. You've noticed that you're lonely even with friends, and that's because you're looking for companionship in a state of dissatisfaction and loneliness. It's no wonder that
I found that a lot of the friends that I had, and it's not like we're enemies now, but sorry. A lot of the friends that I had didn't offer me what I offered them, which was when we were friends and we hang out, we laugh, we joke, we have a great time. You can have what I have. Here you go. Here, if we were drinking, here you go. Here's some beer. But they wouldn't necessarily share theirs. If we go out and they get into an argument with somebody, I'm right there. Because if this is going to escalate, I'm throwing hands. Because that's my friend. When I'm in that same situation, they're not there. These are hypotheticals. Some are true. But if you're my friend, and if we're friends, I have to, if I'm offering you something, I'm expecting that in return. But when I'm not getting that, I realize I'm a friend of convenience to a certain point. I have some friends that wanted to hang out because I would say stupid things, and it was funny. But then they didn't want to go, hey, you want to go, let's go out to eat or something like that. So eventually, I just categorize people. Yeah, okay, cool. They're talked to on the phone, text, but I'm not interested in hanging out with them. These people, it's cool to hang out with, but I'm not going to go out with them because they're always confrontational and they're expecting me to do stuff. I prime example, was out with somebody who always used to get into arguments with other people when they would drink, and I was always like, all right, cool, and I'm telling the other person, it's fine. Then I got looked at one time by somebody, and they just kept eyeballing me, and so I walked over to him and was like, is everything okay? We have a problem? And they were like, yeah, I don't like you eyeballing me. I was like, I wasn't. I just noticed you were giving me a stink eye. So apparently we're reading each other wrong. No harm, no foul. Walk away. they approach the table, and this same friend is sitting there like this, not wanting anything to do with it. And in that moment, I realized, oh, I got a terrible friend. Not that I'm expecting him to jump up, but it's like, I have your back in situations, you don't have my back. Okay. So from that moment on, when I get phone calls from that person, like, hey, you want to go out? Nah, I'm good. Have another person I know that I was, we were inseparable. We were brothers. Then I wasn't at that job anymore. And nothing. Found out apparently, and I didn't know this, but I guess we were just work friends. We weren't actual real friends. We used to talk on the phone. We would go out to movies, go downtown to drink. We worked together all the time. We were inseparable. The day after I left, nothing. I would call him, never call me back. I would go to where he was working just to like hang out and talk. Didn't have time. I tried this for 9 months, never got return phone calls. And I realized, oh, I guess it wasn't a friendship. Then years later, I have a cousin who's getting married. And suddenly this person wants me to come. This is probably 5 years later. This person wants to, hey, let's reconnect with. He wanted me to go to my cousin's wedding to sit at a table with him because he didn't want to be there. And he wanted to catch up. And I was like, nah, I'm good. I'm good. I'm not interested. He asks about me to some people now and then. I'm like, don't tell him anything. We're not friends. So he doesn't need to catch up with me. He knows my number. It's never changed. He's decided, and it's always, well, why don't you get a hold of him? His phone works. His phone does dial. His phone doesn't only receive calls, he can make them. His phone is not a screen with nothing on it that he can't dial out. He's known my number for 20 years, never called. But he always reaches out to other people to contact me. And I'm like, he's an adult. I have no need to reach out to, I have no need to hang out, no need to talk. That was established pretty clearly after I left this place. We weren't friends. I found out the hard way. Other people that I know that talk to me, it's like once you leave a job, those were just work friends. Rare will you keep a hold of some of these people. Found out the hard way. And I was like, oh, okay. So my whole life I moved a lot. So I would make friends, we would move, I would lose contact with those people. And that's just something that's carried on with me that, like, if necessary, I can cut you out of my life like cancer. Think of my sister. She made a threat to me, and she was like my best friend. Gone. And there's no sadness in my heart for that. I'm not upset. I don't have to deal with it. I'm free from that. That's how I flip it around. I'm free from that. I don't have to worry about it. It's not probably healthy, but it's just how I've always come about it. Not healthy at all, I'm sure.
Most relationships that are gained in that manner seem so disappointing and unsatisfying. And so things have become difficult, and now you find yourself alone. And you've been waiting for someone to support you, to pick you up, to answer your phone calls, to believe in you, to encourage you. No one is coming. You're adrift at sea, and there is no search rescue party. Nobody even notices that you're gone. And those who do are glad. So you can either sit here waiting in the abyss for someone who's not coming, or you can start swimming in the direction of land. Your problem, simply put, is that you have been as loyal as Jeremy Renner in the town with the people that you care about. You will go to war for your friends because family has always been an F word.
I haven't seen that show. So no comment.
And so you've made your friends your family. And because you've been so desperate For companionship, you've given out loyalty like Snickers on Halloween to anyone who comes knocking. And surprise, surprise, because you're so liberal with your loyalty, that loyalty has been taken advantage of. And because you take your loyalty so seriously, this has been the toughest lesson for you to learn.
I'm just looking for the camera that's apparently bugging this room. You hear that? That was a home run. That man just cracked a grand slam. I'm telling you. The audience of one is, I mean, he's talking directly to me. And it's true. Everything that I don't pre-watch these, by the way. Everything that I said, I didn't have any clue that he was going to go right into the loyalty thing. No clue.
Because it's hard for you to hear that you've been a sucker. You've given your loyalty out to absolute punks.
Yes. It hurts that you called me a sucker. I don't appreciate that, but yes. Yes.
And it's never been reciprocated. That's why you're alone. All those leeches are gone now. How do you feel? You like that?
This is where you're a little incorrect. I actually do enjoy that. Because you filter down, you eliminate the people that don't deserve you. And by you, I mean you. And by you, I mean me as well. You get rid of those people and you realize only I'm capable of giving myself true loyalty. You know, and look, if you're married, it's a different kind of loyalty. If you have a best friend, I had a best friend for 15 years. We split apart due to drugs. Tremendous story there. Drugs, drug dealing, all kinds of stuff. I started getting out of it. Wasn't interesting. It wasn't as fun to me anymore. And I had been in them longer than he had. And I did not want to leave kind of marijuana. That was my comfort thing. He got into it. We had a big group of people. He started to, one of the guys, I won't say his name, Keith, he started to preach that he needed to get higher and higher. And he would always say, I need to reach, it's not clairvoyancy. Anyways, he needed to reach some like level of, give me a second. Sorry. I had to move one of my lights because I had to turn it. It was like this. I had to turn it like that. So now I'm not glitching out. It doesn't make sense. But back to what I was saying. He used to say that he needed to get higher and higher and then like be cool. Well, I didn't want to get higher and higher and be cool and act like you're not high. I would get high and then just sit there and we would watch TV shows and like eat cookies. And it was great. We'd laugh at the same thing, listen to songs. It was great. And they decided that wasn't interesting and intense anymore. So they were wanting to make like little blunts or little joints, and they wanted to have cocaine sprinkled into it. Not my thing. I watched a video on how cocaine was made, and the acid and stuff like that. You know, when you snort it, it burns the hole in your nose. No hole in my nose. Don't do it. Never did. And then they were wanting to take acid, and I was, I want to see a purple elephant. And I watched the thing on drugs on acid, and I realized, the reason why people are seeing that is because the drug is hemorrhaging your brain, causing your brain to bleed, and when it does, it interacts with the electrical signals in your brain, causing you to see stuff. I don't want that high. No. So he picked drugs, and that was fine with me. My friendship ended with him. And then 4 years later, he called out of the blue to see what I was up to. apologized for things, said he wanted to catch up. We've never spoken. I was 19. We've never spoken since. But he gets arrested several times a year and has since he was, I think, 23. This is a guy who got high and drunk, stole his mom's brand new Audi and crashed it, went off a cliff and crashed it, no seatbelt on it, went out the sunroof and hit a tree with his collarbone. Had he just hit here, he's dead. Now I'm talking the tree. Dead, broken collarbone. Hospital for weeks. Do you think I'm upset that I lost his friendship? Hell no. Nope. So, I'm only saying that to where like there are joys with being able to separate yourself. And don't feel, if you have to do that, trust me when I tell you, you don't feel sad. If you are a Muslim and you're around terrible people, identify that person, because I identified him with drugs. Identify that person with drugs or alcohol or tobacco, pork, whatever it is. Identify that person with something bad for you. And then when you don't talk to them, okay, good. You eliminated a person, but you eliminated something bad. That's what I've done. I eliminate those people and I'm like, oh, okay, I'm not around a drug dealer anymore. Okay, I'm not around a terrible drug user and an abuser or this and that. I'm talking an awful lot and I apologize, but I relate to this series.
That lesson cut deep, didn't it? That's okay. Hopefully that scar remains ugly and visible for you so that you never make that mistake again. Everybody wants to be a part of a success story. Nobody wants to build one. That's why you're alone. People don't see you as successful.
Since everyone wants to be a part of a success story, but nobody wants to be there for the hard work it took to be that success story. Everyone just wants to leech onto it. Look at me. 3,000 subscribers. That's an all-time YouTube high. Don't fact check that.
So they're nowhere to be found. You had tough battles that you had to fight, and they were nowhere to be found. They had your back, though, just miles away so that they couldn't see the damage that was done. So remember, everybody wants to be a part of a success story. Everybody wants to be there when everything is going right. Nobody wants to help build one. Nobody wants to help people from the ground all the way up. So keep that lesson as you continue through your journey of rebuilding yourself. And remember that nobody that wasn't there at the bottom is allowed to roll with you at the top. Because as you continue your rise, they will eventually show up. You don't need support or friendship or companionship from heterotrophs, energy vampires that will leave you the second that they see you have nothing left to give, or the second that adversity comes calling, actually requiring them to act as true friends. They're nowhere to be found. Look, facing the world and trials alone is scary, especially when you've had burned into your mind this idea that you can't go it alone, that you need help, that you need support. But this idea that you need help, you need support, you can't go it alone is the same trap of blaming your failures on others. When you create this mindset that I can only succeed, I can only change if I have the support of other people, you're placing your success in the hands of others. If it's their fault, only they can fix it. Likewise, if you can't do it without support and help and companionship, then the fact that you don't have that validates the reason why you're still stuck where you are. And that's garbage. You're going to drag yourself out of this situation by yourself, for yourself, come hell or high water. You need the right friends. You need the right support. You need the right environment. There's no downplaying that. There's no shortage of examples of people who found great success because of the support that was around them. Likewise, there's no shortage of people who found themselves surrounded by the wrong people in the wrong environment and then enveloped themselves in failure. But that's on them. You can choose to fall to the level of your circumstances, or you can choose to rise above them. If only I had help. If only I had support. Boo-hoo. You don't. So are you just going to sit there, roll over and die? Because nobody's crossing enemy lines to come back and get you. As far as they're concerned, you're KIA, brother. 80% of the people don't care about your situation. The other 20% are glad that you're in it. Falling from grace, losing position, losing status, all come with a lot of pain and frustration and confusion, but also come with an amazing blessing, which is clarity. You know with absolute conviction in your heart that if there was somebody that you loved, that you cared about, that you considered a true friend, that regardless of their situation and how bad it got, you would never forsake them. You would never let them wallow in the depths of really desperate situations and not offer help, not offer assistance, regardless of how bad it got. You wouldn't give up on them. You're not afraid of getting down and dirty and going to places where most people aren't willing to go. No matter how long it took, you would fight first and foremost to protect them, and second, to help them till they got back on top. Why in the hell would you want companions that are not of the same mindset or level of loyalty? You feel a sense of loss and abandonment, when in reality, you have to change your mindset. You should feel a sense of freedom from the attachment to falseness, freedom from false friends, freedom from false support, freedom from reciprocating in a one-way relationship, and most importantly, freedom from the false sense of security that comes with fake friends and fair weather fans. There's an old saying, when you rely on no one, you cannot be disappointed. It's all on you. And when it's all on you, you control what you can control and you leave the rest to God. So when you're at the bottom and you find yourself in this lonely state, don't despair. You should rejoice, because it gives you an opportunity to see who's really real. Because successful people oftentimes have the problem that they never know who to really trust. Why are these people around me? Why are they my friends? Why are they supporting me? Are they here for some sort of mutual benefit? Are they here for a one-way benefit? But when you're not doing great, when you're not popular, when you're not thriving, nobody's interested in taking advantage of that situation, because for the most part, they don't perceive that there's any advantage in being in that relationship in the first place. So the fact that those people aren't around is a good thing. We're social creatures by nature. We don't want to be alone. Very few people are comfortable spending time by themselves. We seek companionship. So when we find ourselves alone, we often feel like something is wrong. We have TV shows titled Alone, basically emphasize the point that very few people can be without companionship for an extended period of time. Ideally, we'd love to have a supportive environment with friends and family, but that's not always possible. And in your situation, it's clearly not. At this point in your journey, having no one around you is a benefit, because it allows you to focus on you. Sometimes having people around you when you are in a state that needs to be changed can be difficult, because sometimes the people around you are going to be detractors. Some of the people that are surrounding you might not want to see you elevate because they're just straight up haters. And at the end of the day, you don't need those people around you. Sometimes it's because they themselves are afraid to see you change, because if they see themselves as an equal and they see you trying to change and improve yourself, well, people typically only try to change and improve themselves if there's something wrong. And if there's something wrong with you and they see themselves on the same level, then they have to see that there's something wrong with themselves. And it's a lot easier to put you down than to acknowledge the shortcomings within themselves.
Some people will not want to see you change, or let's say you just hit a point. Let's say you're young. Let's say you're 21. You skipped college, and you realize that the position you're in is not what you wanted. You don't want to look back when you're 42 and think, why didn't I? So you decide, I need to make changes now, because if I don't, I am definitely going to be in jail or whatever. So you decide, I'm going to make some changes. And you tell your friends. And your friends say, why? Man, that's stupid. What are you doing that for? Come on, man. What are you doing? No. Let's go hang out somewhere. Let's go do this. And they try to change your mind. what he said is one way, but what I've seen is that people don't want to see you change because they don't want to see you prosper, because you making that change to prosper means you have to step away from them to do that. And that is maybe one less person in their life that they can latch onto and make sure that these two people right here are with me. But now this person breaks that grip because, but this isn't what I want to do. I want to do this with my life. And now they've got two hands on you because now they've got to make sure that you can't go anywhere. And when you start to make that change, all they're doing is grasping at it, because by you changing, you're leaving them alone. And they feel like, oh, you're turning your back on me. Instead of, no, I'm trying to do something with my life. You can continue to do this. This is what you want to do. That's fine. But don't hold me and tell me that my dreams aren't anything important because you don't hold the same value. There's a lot of people around here, a lot of people that were around me, and I'll tell you what, I was one of those people at times where I was like, no, come on, what are you doing, man? What are you doing? Then I just hit this point where I started seeing these people going, and I'm like, man, he's happy. He's happy. He's happy. He's not around us. That person's happy. And we feel the same. I want to feel happy. And you realize that you're the dumb one. And I can speak on that from experience. So you start to try to do things with your life, make changes. But yeah, when those people, there's a fear in them. When they're holding on to you, there's a fear in losing you. Because by bettering yourself, you're going to leave them behind. Instead of both of you trying to better yourself at the same time, doing different things, you both bring each other up. But they don't have that inspiration to do that. They don't have the desire. And then one day for them, they're 25 years old, and all they do is wake up and drink and then go to work at a job they hate for pay that isn't good, and they get fired, and they don't care because that's their life. And it's depressing. That was not me, though.
So like we said, misery likes company, but she's not allowed on this trip. Sometimes it comes in the form of people who try to prop you up by, oh, you're fine, you're doing great, don't be so hard on yourself. Those are the worst. Can't stand those people. No one should ever stand in the way of somebody else's self-improvement. And although this comes across as loving and caring, I don't know what anybody else calls it, but I just see it as just a really disgusting character trait that I can't stand. And I hate being around those people. You need to distance yourself from anyone that treats you like that. You need tough coaches at this point in time.
Oh, come on, man. Don't say that. Come on, let's hang out for a little bit.
You need people who are going to be able to tell you that where you're at is not acceptable and that you need to push yourself. You need to improve. You need to get better. You need to get right. And they're there to support and love you the whole way through, but they're not going to let you off the hook. So although you might have people that are still around you, you need to be very careful that you're not going to surround yourself with people who are going to kick you while you're down.
My mom was she wasn't too tough. She would support you. But she would also say, no, you shouldn't do that. She wouldn't tell you what you should do, but she'd say you probably shouldn't do that. She would always support you. She would support you as long as you were making the effort. And as long as you were making that effort and making strides moving forward, she would support you. But the second you didn't, it was, what happened? What's going on? Why are you slipping? My dad, on the other hand, was a you'll never succeed. Why are you trying? You're not good enough. And that hurt. Because that's not what I wanted to hear. If I did wrong, tell me. But at the same time, if I've done right, tell me. He was my coach for 6 years. After he died, people told me that all the things that he told them about my time playing football, I played American football, and that he said that I was of all the 30 years of coaching, that I was the best player he ever had. He never said that to me. Only thing he ever told me was I was lucky to be on the team. I wasn't good enough for this. I didn't run fast enough. I could have hit that guy harder. Why'd you do that? What's wrong with you? It was criticism that after a while you ignore, because you know that even when you've done right, when you've done good, you'll never know it from him. You'll never hear the positive, like affirmation. There's always an excuse for why you're a failure. So there's two different things that I had to deal with. Can you understand which side I would gravitate to? But the one was he never stopped. Never. His mom, my grandma, was only happy when she made people miserable. That was her joy. She got mad at me for making oatmeal because I didn't put enough water in there. She wanted me to put water in a measuring cup and measure it. I did. I went off the instant, package of what it said. She wanted more. I put it in the microwave for what it said. She wanted it it said 1 minute. She wanted 5 minutes. It was terrible. And then I handed it to her and she looked at it and she goes, "Well, you don't know what you're doing. Good luck in your life." Cool. Appreciate that. She wanted me to do it again. I said, "No, I'm good." Never did anything else for her. That was the same love and affection that he offered. And there's a reason why I am so cold and distant at times. Or maybe when I'm watching a video, I seem desensitized. Don't mean to be. Man, this episode got real, didn't it? God damn you.
Whether that comes in the form of telling you that you're a loser and that there is no place for you to elevate.
I'm 100%. I'm not kidding. I did not watch this video. I did not know what he was going to say. I didn't interrupt and say things and then unpause at some prime time where he was nothing. I promise if I'm lying, you can cancel my channel. I don't know how you would cancel it, but
or whether it's people that are telling you that you're great. And likewise, there's no need for you to elevate. So you don't need them, you don't want them, and you also don't want the people who all disappeared when things got tough. Again, why would you want the company of people who don't want to see you succeed? Why would you want the company of people who don't care if you fail? And why would you want the company of people who only want your companionship when they see that there's some form of benefit, be it monetarily or socially? The answer is obvious. You don't want the company of such people. Better yet, you don't need them. The road ahead of you is going to be extremely difficult. You're essentially walking into Mordor and back. And you definitely don't need detractors while you are on that journey. So you're most likely going to be doing this alone. You need to embrace that. And there's a huge, huge benefit of traversing this path on your own. The benefit of going it alone is that you're not seeking approval from your circle of none. There's no time wasted in considering how the circle views or approves your moves. Sometimes you're going to have to do things that are right for you that aren't right for others. Being on your own and being comfortable on your own is also important because it helps you build sincerity in your actions. Your need for companionship can oftentimes compromise your authenticity because that need for companionship forces you into a situation where you feel as if you have to filter your actions to make sure that they don't jeopardize that companionship. Your actions are filtered to make sure that they maintain those social relationships because you've fallen into that trap before where you start to concern yourself with how will my actions be received? How will they be perceived? Which causes you to guard your actions and your speech, which strips them of any sincerity. All of that is gone when you're alone. Who cares what anybody thinks? What's going to happen? Who are you going to lose? You're already alone, and there's power in that. And as you continue on this journey of self-improvement, don't be overly concerned with being alone for too long because eventually all sorts of people are going to come back. You'll have a new problem when all of these people start coming back, which is who to let into your circle. And obviously you'll have to be selective, but you'll be doing this with the experience of having become comfortable with the idea of being alone. And so it won't be coming from a position of neediness. But once you're comfortable being alone, you no longer need anyone. And now you can select your companions based on compatibility with your ideals, your goals, your character, and for reciprocal loyalty. And when those people do come back, and they eventually will, the last thing you want to do is admit back into your circle the, oh, we were waiting for you to get right crowd. If they weren't there for you at the bottom, they're not allowed at the top. So while you might think that being alone is some form of punishment from God for your shortcomings, so he's taken all of the love and companionship out of your life, you have to see it for the blessing that it is. It's an opportunity for you to build and become stronger without the distraction of fake or detrimental companions, allowing you to grow as you stand alone like that rock in the ocean that is being pounded by the waves of adversity, yet standing unfazed, so that in the future, you're able to withstand the trials that you're inevitably going to face as you do what you need to do and you say what you need to say and you be who you're meant to be without the fear of losing everything and everyone, because you've already conquered that challenge of being able to walk the path alone.
That was a good one. That was really, really, really good. Sometimes I feel like I shouldn't say things, in like moments of honesty. I feel like maybe I should not say things, but there's also a part of me that believes that if you're watching my video, I'm not here to put up some kind of like life is great. It's not for me. Life is good. Don't get me wrong. My life is what I make it. I'm a happy person. I'm enjoying life. Video games, movies, stupid dogs. By stupid dogs, I just mean one dog in particular, laying right over here. Got books. Like I'm good. But if people are dealing with, if you're watching me and thinking, oh, it sounds like he has it all. I don't. Not even close. But if you also are going through things and you use whatever stupid thing that I'm talking about as like, oh, that's enjoyable. It's a way to get away from things. Just know that, hey, look, I've dealt with things too. Still do. Still will. Always will. Until one day you see me in a coffin. Or, I think that's the expression on my face when I'm dead. Pretty sure that's what it'll look like. So if you're going through issues, trust me, everyone is. They just don't talk about it. Maybe being a little too open isn't good, but I don't worry about retribution or somebody taking advantage. I'm an open book. What is somebody going to say something to me that, or say something about me that I'm not willing to say for myself? Like, no. Sometimes I'm a little forward and direct when I communicate with people. It's a little off-putting. It's because I don't have time to do that dance of communication. So maybe I developed that from just being alone because it is what it is. But I'm not. You just trust me. I'm not the best person on YouTube, even though I do have the highest subscriber count in the history of YouTube. That's a fact. Don't look into that, please. Do not. So, you know, I hope you enjoyed this episode though, because this was a good one. I'm scared about what part three is going to be. Part three is going to probably be titled, Kris, this is for you. I'll be like, oh, no. What else can you do? All right, so we're going to end this here. Until next time, have a good day, have a good night. Where's the button? See? I hit the wrong button. How good is my life? Exactly. Here's the right button. Bye-bye.